Welcome back, listeners. My name is Larry Kallevig, founder and CEO of the Haven Financial Group. And if you're just tuning in, you are listening to the Haven Financial Group radio show, where we discuss crucial retirement topics every week. Great to have Glenn Ramey to talk about the insurance aspects of retirement and oftentimes how they go unnoticed. Kim, let's talk a little bit about long-term care with Glenn. And then, Glenn, if you could, just kind of sum up to the listeners how Haven, how you and Isabel at the office, in all the areas in the insurance part that we help people in these areas and what that process really looks like. If you wouldn't mind commenting, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, the one area that I think people need to have a good and solid plan for, that's understandably one that's a difficult conversation to approach, is the conversation of long-term care. And just some broad statistics, right? 70% of us will need some form of assistance before we pass away. 50% of us will spend time in a nursing home. The average stay in a nursing home is just a little over 3 years for a woman, just a little under 3 years for a man. With currently in the state of Minnesota, the median cost of a nursing home facility has reached over $130,000 per year, over $10,000 now per month to be in a facility. So are we having a proper plan for this? Are we having proper documentation about durable powers of attorney to make decisions when we can't? Have we got the funding that we need that's going to pay for that care that's not going to be compensated by our Medicare insurance? So what we do is we sit down with individuals and start with that education. Let's talk about your situation, talk about your concerns. Let's then start addressing the options that are available to the market. And I think where a lot of individuals are missing information right now, don't know, is that there's more than one way to solve that problem now with long-term care planning. It is not just that one option fits all scenario anymore at all when it comes to long-term care planning.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people hear long-term care planning and they think, I can never afford that. I can't do it. And you're saying there's numerous options, some of which I'm sure are extremely expensive, but others that maybe might be more doable. Maybe you could just give us a few examples.
Yeah, so for those individuals that are fearful that they might run out of money trying to pay this cost, right, that don't have self-funding as an option on the table, going through what they refer to as a Medicaid spend down is not, let's say, a fun process to go through, because you are literally impoverishing yourself in order for the state government to help take care of you. And what people don't know, and that might be sitting in that circumstance, is that you don't need a Cadillac long-term care policy to protect some of those hard-earned assets that you have. There is long-term care insurance that's considered what they call partnership qualified. That's the language in the industry. We won't go into it, but it simply means asset protection against Medicaid. That if we need this care and our insurance pays out dollars for us to help compensate the cost of care we're receiving, those dollars are turning into protected dollars against the state's Medicaid spend down program. So it doesn't have to be a Cadillac to build at least a small pool of savings that your surviving spouse or your family is going to receive of those dollars you work really hard for to have for retirement, right? For your spouse and for your children. So if we're in that situation, I think that's important. For those that are better savers that might think, you know what, I maybe have the money to fully fund this on my own. Well, there's still a conversation to be had, in my opinion, about leveraging those dollars, right? To make sure that if you don't need care, you haven't given that money up. Instead, you've leveraged it for long-term care while still having it appreciate. So there's options called asset-based long-term care planning, a repositioning of retirement savings in order to leverage it against a long-term care event without giving up a penny of that savings, while having that savings grow with interest and getting 2 to 3 times that amount in long-term care benefits if something like that were to occur.
Yeah. Well, so I think what we're hearing here, Glenn, is that there are options, and if someone is looking for those options, but probably are not all that educated on them because you don't have long-term insurance like this all your life, it is a good idea to come in, sit down, and talk to you guys there at Haven Financial Group. And you can spell out what all the options are to give people an opportunity to think it through.
Yeah, at no cost, we'll sit down with you looking at your situation, addressing your concerns, and educating you on these options that are out in the marketplace now. And if you identify one that could work for you, we're going to be happy to help facilitate that process of adding that protection to you and your family.
And it's important to do this early.
Absolutely. I think not just for cost reasons. Sure.
Uh-huh.
Like any other type of health related product, right? The costs go up as we age. But more importantly, it's the ability to qualify. It's the ability to clear the underwriting requirements, the health questionnaires and exams that might be required in order to qualify for this type of insurance. And doing it early enough that you don't have the health conditions that might make that offer not as great, or even worse, take that offer off the table completely because we didn't address it till after a major health occurrence has happened.
Right, right. Larry, you wanted to have Glenn talk a little bit more about just the process.
Yeah, the process of how he helps people, how we address, we no matter what the situation, we take people through the same process. Maybe Glenn, if you could just at Haven Financial Group, mention all the services, the Medicare, long-term care, life insurance, just in a nutshell, all those and what really listeners should be doing or looking at or getting reviewed and why.
Yeah, so let's start with the healthcare, right? So obviously, I'm here to help individuals understand their healthcare options, understand the nuances between them so they can make good, informed decisions. And that's sitting down with them, hearing what their situation is, hearing what their options are through their transition out of an employer, and then really giving them a no-cost, strong education on their healthcare, whether that's a pre-65 insurance plan and the exchanges they have to work with, or whether those are Medicare options and understanding the nuances between Medicare Advantage plans and Medicare supplement plans, and really helping facilitate that process so that you get lined up with the coverage that really is going to meet your needs in retirement, going to meet what you're looking for there. Life insurance reviews. I'm speaking to the individuals that are already owning life insurance in retirement, already have plans for it, have been paying in good hard-earned dollars for decades potentially to make sure this benefit is going to be there for their family, but they haven't had it reviewed. They haven't made sure that that is actually going to be the case. And although we don't like to say it, there are definitely plenty of scenarios that we see where someone's life insurance policy is not performing like it's supposed to. And without addressing it early enough, they might find that that life insurance is not there for their family when they expected it to be, that it has gone before they did. Right? So making sure we're reviewing it, taking advantage of options. Maybe you didn't know that at the time you set up your life insurance policy that there were now options related to long-term care planning that you can include. And maybe we're still healthy enough that we can go through that process all over again and redo our insurance to improve upon it. Reduce the cost, eliminate the cost, get more benefit, or actually add some extra features that weren't there at the original time because we have that opportunity to shop that life insurance out for you. Just like you shop your home and auto, your life insurance is something else that should be shopped out periodically to make sure you got the best deal that you could for it. And then obviously, as we just talked about the long-term care planning, are we addressing what could potentially be the largest healthcare cost that is not going to be paid by our health insurance, right? Do we have a plan? Maybe insurance isn't the plan, but do we actually have a plan for what this looks like when it happens?
Mm-hmm. And finally, Glenn, from me, the biggest mistake you think people make related to insurance and retirement
is not having the conversation. It's not getting the information in the first place to make good informed decisions. It's the assumptions that we make because we heard it from somewhere else, or we had a bad experience with a professional before that pitched us an option for long-term care, and we never come back and readdress that conversation in a good, thorough manner, right? It's those assumptions that leave us in inaction when we could be taking action to really help and protect our family.
Mm-hmm. And Larry, how about you? What are some of the mistakes maybe you see?
Well, just not getting the attention that they deserve. The idea that, well, somebody tried to sell us a Cadillac plan. They tried to take advantage of us and it didn't work out. We don't trust them. And like Glenn said, not looking at all the options. There's much better viable options out there than there used to be. The problem is, in addition to that, people think, well, if I work with somebody, it's going to cost me a lot of money. To sit down with Glenn costs nothing but some time to get the education necessary to make an educated decision. There is no insurance is insurance. Insurance companies incentivize those to put people in the right position in the right place that they can benefit from. There's no additional cost, or there certainly shouldn't be. So it comes down to, do you have a partner that you can lean on? Are you getting the attention you deserve? Our clients at Haven Financial Group, if they have any of these questions, they know how to get a hold of all of us, Glenn, Isabella. And guess what? I say there's no quota as to how many times we can get together with any of us, because doing that will give you the confidence to know that we explored all the options. This one worked. wasn't for us, can't do this, but we looked at all the options.
Sure.
That's really what I want listeners to do, and they can do it. They just got to pick up the phone.
Absolutely. If this resonates with you, if you need some partnership when it comes to insurance, when it comes to any kind of retirement questions, give the folks at Haven Financial Group a call, 612-504-8400. 612-504-8400. Let them know that you heard us here on the radio and that you'd like to come in and sit down with the experts, whether you're talking insurance or you're just putting together a retirement portfolio, whatever the case might be. Be sure that you give them a call. Glenn, thanks so much. Great to see you like always. Appreciate your time.
A pleasure, Kim. Thank you.
We'll take a break, everybody. You're listening to the Haven Financial Group radio show.